Hey, how's it going? Today I'm going to be talking about invoicing and what that is. Invoicing is a vital financial process used in business and freelance settings to request payments for goods or service providers to a customers or client. So either you're running a business or perhaps you're a freelancer or self-employed person. If you haven't heard about it already, you should definitely know about invoicing. An invoice is a formal document that outlines the details of transaction, including the products or services delivered, the quantity, the agreed upon price, payment terms, and other relevant information. There are a lot of examples up there, as well as you could either use a separate software to do invoicing with that might cost, or perhaps if you, depending on your bank, which bank you're working with, that bank might have its own software to do invoicing with. I have done myself. There are different options, and the based on what product and services you're offering, you can. I would definitely recommend you do your own research based on that, just based on that. There might be some solutions that might work better, but I would definitely recommend do not pay extra money already that you have to pay for separate software. That's just my overall understanding of it. Invoices serve several purposes. Request for payment. The primary purpose of an invoice is to request payment from customer or client for products or services rendered. Uh, it, it's very easy process. I don't know if most of the people are scared to do that. Overall, it's a very simple process. It might take, especially in the beginning, it might take a little bit longer, but overall, putting all the details in, whatever might be required, it can take 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If you haven't done it, I would definitely recommend to practice. Perhaps send one invoice to your father, mother, or something like that. For you, they don't even need to fill in that invoice. But overall, just practice doing it, and it's a very simple thing to do. Record keeping. Invoices provide a clear and organized record of transactions, making it easier for both the seller and the buyer to track their financial activities. Legal documents. Invoices often serve as a legal binding document that can be used in the case of disputes for tax purposes. They typically include important details such as seller's contact information, the buyer's contact information, invoice number, and payment terms. Proof of transaction. An invoice serves as a proof that a transaction took place and the both parties agree on the terms. You need to read once you start operating business. I would definitely recommend you to read all the terms and conditions with your bank. Some of those invoices can be payable, for example, just for example, what all kind of things they can see in the, depending on the bank that you're dealing with, all the or invoice itself. They can in within terms and conditions they can say different things about payment. All the communications you might consider doing on the bank's platform, but later they can validate that information. Just one example, as well as you might consider timeframes in which some of the transactions can be cancelled. It's so many things that you need to be aware of once you start operating a business, as well as if you start small. Small transactions might be okay, I guess, if it's something that you can deal with an operating business and you're just launching your business. But once the sums will pick up and it will start, your business starts to grow. So you need to consider those if there's going to be any difficulties. You need to understand all the terms of what bank would say, as well as your invoice providers and all those details that you should be aware of. A complete breakdown of invoice and what it typically include. sender's information, name, address, and contact details of the entity or individual sending the invoice, recipient information, name, the address, email address, contact details of the customer or client receiving the invoice. If you prefer doing everything digitally, you might consider that just an example. Invoice number, a unique identifier for the invoice used for tracking and references. The invoice date, a date for invoice issued, due date, a date by which payment is accepted, a description of products or services, a detailed list of products and services provided, including quantity, unit price, and total amount for each item. Within there, usually, I would set the standard as well as basically, without going too much into detail, it's missing a lot of information. That's what I'm saying. Okay, it's like a standard. What you expect, or who's responsible for it, all those good things. Payment terms, the agreed upon terms for payment, such as method of payment, currency, and any late payment, penalties or discounts for early payments. Total amount due, the sum of all charges, including any applicable taxes or fees, payment instructions, information on how and where to make the payment, including the bank account details or payment platforms information, notes, and additional information or special instructions related to invoice. That's, I guess, where I would highly recommend to, if possible, if you're doing business to business services, you offer business to client, general public, just to understand who you're doing business, right? Myself, I have met all kind of people, right? So you might want to consider who you're doing business. That would save you a lot of time and simplify all the process, unnecessary information, what's necessary, or what concerns you might have, or all that things, just based on prior checks. Who you're doing business might save you a lot of time and money down the line. For those of you who are interested in structuring your time, having small routines, and developing better habits, if you haven't already, I would highly recommend to purchase Ink Flow journal that I have developed. I have spent a lot of time. I have done a lot of research how to structure your own time, how to make the most of your time, as well as how to develop habits. Every single book that I could find up there, I have read it to the point. And what I'm trying to say, I have put a lot of knowledge and expertise in this journal, and I can recommend it enough for many people to read it. At least that's my goal, so I could perhaps change lives, to the very least improve lives, so as many individuals as I can. If you would begin with your personal life and progress into your professional life, that would be great. You can find this journal in the description, as well as Top Retailers has it. Just to summarize today's video, that would be invoices. Some of the notes would be invoices can be created manually using word processing software or specialized invoice software. What I would highly recommend, do not pay if you can for another software. Perhaps your bank provider, the banking service provider, has a software which you wouldn't necessarily need to pay for. It just before you do anything, read terms and conditions, because it can be 50 pages, 60 pages, 100 pages terms and conditions that your bank middle person can just brace yourself for a worst, right? So please read terms and conditions. Try to understand everything what's in there. It can take to extremes. Sometimes some banks, or they can take the terms and conditions to extremes, and you might change your mind when doing any business with some of the banks that you're currently doing. But either way, or software, or they can be generated automatically by accounting and billing software. Many businesses and freelancers use online invoicing tools to streamline invoice processes, track payments, and generate reports for their financial records. Timely and accurate invoices is crucial for maintaining healthy cash flow and ensuring that you are compensated for your products or services in a professional and efficient manner. If you can, I would highly recommend you outsource everything to software. Instead, perhaps having a person doing that. Just in one note, perhaps that would be future requirements with different governments where there potentially be a software and the person there would oversee everything, making sure that software works properly. So a person would oversee, but not necessarily a person who's gonna do all the work. So hopefully we're gonna have some software solutions out there in the future, and there might be some people who are interested in developing those software solutions for free, which would be great. Thanks for watching. See you next one.